Hello and welcome to everyone. So as we have discussed in the introductory lecture of this course, in this course basically will be the two component. In one component we will be discussing about the theoretical derivatives of the different models. Then in the second component of this course, which is very important, is that we will be using a software known as R to implement those methods, those models, and we'll see that how we can estimate those models, how we can analyze those models, how we can use those models into real financial data. So to do that, we will be using a software R. So today we basically will discuss about that particular software, some of the basic things, how we will using that software. So today's class is basically introductory class for the R. So let's together dive into it. So in this first lecture, briefly we'll discuss about the various aspects of R. Then in the second part of this lecture, we will be using some of the basic things in R. So we can say, in a sense, this course is basically very much balanced between the theory and the practical. So we can say that it's nothing but a hands-on course. So let's dive into this very interesting journey and see how we can evolve in this case. So let's first discuss briefly about the R. R basically is a programming language, and also it's an software environment. So we have heard the different programming languages, for example C++, Java, HTML. So there is another programming language we have, that is the R programming language, which is quite well known and widely used across the field and across the professions. So let's us briefly discuss the history, how it evolved. So basically R language was developed by Ihaka and Robert Gentleman in 1990. However, it came into the public in 1993. R language is primarily developed with the group of people known as the R core team. The interesting aspect of R and why there is the phenomenal increase in the application or in the use of R is because it is an open source software. That is, this project is released under the general public license, so it is freely available, anyone can use. However, we have very interesting concept in economics known as the no free lunch. That is, without any of cost, you cannot have anything. Here, however, we are claiming that this is free. So here basically we can say the cost is that we have to give the time to learn R. So that's the only cost we are paying. So that cost is in terms of opportunity cost, not in terms of monetary or accounting cost. Then another advantage of this software is that this is the cross-platform compatible, or we can say it is a platform independent software. So basically what we mean by the platform independent, that the same R software, same codes can work either in the Windows or in Linux or in Mac or any other operating system. You don't have to worry about the compatibility. The codes which you are working on Windows, the same may work in the Mac also. This has been widely used across the different fields. So some of the, here we are seeing on screen, that is pharma, banking, retail, telecom, education, apart from then journalism, risk bearing, transportation. So lot of different even the medical field, there has been a huge application of this particular software. So how we'll do? Basically this software is learning by doing. That is, as you will do, you will learn more and more. Not, it's very difficult to learn just by listening the lectures or watching the videos. Here basically I will request everyone to adopt a follow along approach. As we are doing parallel, you can do the same thing on your systems, and that's the best approach to learn this particular software. However, at the beginning it may be hard, or it may feel hard, but it later pays off as you progress, as you becomes consistent. So at the end it will look like very easy. So from my experience I can tell you, so in the beginning it may seem little bit difficult, but at the end you will enjoy using the R. So let's start. What are the steps we are needed to use R? So first thing is we'll talk about the installation of R. So to install the R, so first step is kindly visit this particular website where you will find the R. So download R compatible to your system and install in your particular system. So here we can see the first step is visiting this particular website. Then you can download according to your system, according to your need, whether for the Linux, whether for the Mac, or whether for the Windows you need. So according to your system requirement, you can download this particular software, which is completely free, without any payment, without any registration. You will be able to download from this. So once we download, you can open R, and a plain R user interface will be look like here, like this. And in this case, we can work. For example, we can type a command and we can get the result here. So for example, red colors are the commands which we have, or we can say inputs, and the blue colors are here, and here so red colors are the commands, and here the blue colors are the results. However, we'll be using RStudio. So what is the RStudio? You can think of like this. R is the engine, whereas the RStudio is the dashboard. Yes, without the dashboard, you can use the engine, but it becomes little difficult, tricky, and using through the dashboard, it can becomes more enjoyable, more productive, and more easy. So that's basically the work of RStudio are doing. So basically RStudio, so you can work directly in R, but one of the graphical user interface becomes more convenient. So one of the most popular is the RStudio. So in the other name we can call it an integrated development environment, what we call the IDE. So what is the RStudio? It is a console like the plain R, a powerful code script editor. So what is the code script? What is the editor? We'll learn in a few minutes. Then it's also a special tool. It is a special tool for the plotting, viewing R objects and codes. There are the cheat sheets for the R programming. So there will be handout kind of things which you can download from the RStudio itself, which will be quite helpful. Then type completion for object names and function arguments. So what we mean by the type completion, basically as we see in the Google search engine, when you are typing 2-3 letters, they will suggest the different suggestions will appear. Similarly here, if you type the 2-3 letters of any function, any argument, then RStudio will offer the suggestions. Do you mean this or do you mean this? So then we don't have to write the whole argument. We don't have to write the full function arguments. We can select, choose, or just hit the enter button to use that particular suggested arguments. Very important advantage we have in the RStudio, which is not available with the plain R. So how to get the RStudio? To get the RStudio, kindly visit this particular website. Then here on the corner, you can use the download RStudio. So where we will be using download desktop. So once you download and open RStudio, the first preview of RStudio will appear on your screen, something like this, where this is basically known as the console, or where results pane or results window. And on the right top corner, you will have this particular tab where basically we have by default we will be having two tabs, that is environment and history. However, depending on your configuration, your need, there may be two other tabs. One is known as connections, another tutorial or build. So those configuration we can change according to our need. However, by default there will be the two tab will appear, environment and history. In the environment, basically whatever the data we generate, whatever the results will generate, whatever the variable will be generating, so those will be listed under environment tab. In the history tab, all those commands which we will be using up to a particular time, and if you click on the history, all those commands, all those arguments will be listed there. Then at the top side right bottom corner, you will have another tab, another pane where we will have the different tabs: files, plots, packages, help. So files, all those files which you have created or which has imported will be listed there. The plots, if you are plotting any data, then those plots will be in that particular tab. Then packages. So basically what is packages? In R, packages basically is the bundle of similar types of functions. So you can think of a box where similar kind of functions have been put so that it becomes easy to access. So that's basically package. You can say, for example, clothing cupboard, we make small boxes where in the socks, in one tie, another we have the shirts, in one box we put. So basically what happens, it becomes easy to access. So similarly, packages here is basically the similar kind of the functions which has a similar kind of functionality for the broad area. For example, let us say some of the functions we will be using for the financial econometrics. So that might be bundled into a particular package. For example, time series. For example, basic statistics. For example, for the people of physics. So those are the different packages we have. Then another is the help, which is a quite important tab. So to learn any software, the first thing we should learn how to get the help. Because getting help is not a bad. Basically, it's a very even a person who is using any programming language, any software for the last 30-40 years, even they need to have the access to the help. Then apart from these, there could be another tab, for example, viewer presentation. So these are again the depends on the configuration. So it varies from user to user whether it will appear or not. However, these four are by default it will appear. However, if you are a frequent user, and for example we talked about the script. So basically script is nothing, or the code editor is nothing. In R we have the two approach to execute a particular command. One approach is you write a command then execute. Another approach is you write a multiple commands for a particular particular project. Then in batch or either in individual you can execute all those commands. So basically all those commands listed in a particular text kind of file, that is known in case of R as the R script. And to edit those codes and all which we have written is basically we call the code editor. So if you are using the script file, then the R will have the 4 pane instead of 3. So here in this pane, basically this will be the code editor. So where we'll add, delete, add, edit, change, all those codes we can do here. All others will be same here in this case here. Then as I told you, the first thing should learn in for any softwares to basically get the help. So for example here help, there are two approaches. Either within the inside R or R Studio we can get the help, or outside of the R, that is on the web pages or the blogs or the books, we can get the help. So here first I will talk about the getting help inside the R, that within the R software how we can get the help. For example, apply is a particular function. However, we don't know what it is does, how it can be used, what are the arguments we needed. So if you wanted to learn, so you can type in the console help apply. Then in the help viewer, you will get the details of this particular argument, particular functions. However, you have to keep in mind this particular detail, that whenever we write, we have to put it in the double quote here. So the help is the basically function, and the here argument goes for which we need the help. So that argument should go inside the argument of the help function. Or the other way to get the help is putting a question mark on the same function argument, whichever the term which you are looking for, the argument, the function which you are looking for uh, so that you can get the help putting directly the question mark before that particular argument. Or we'll see the cursor. So we must hope everyone is aware about the cursor. So basically, whenever you use any system or the computer, so there will be the vertical line bringing, basically when we move our mouse, so that line, that arrow basically change. So that's what we call the cursor. So another way to get the help is that where suppose I needed the help on the apply. So if my cursor is on the term apply, and if I press F1, it will give us the help file. Then another, for example, read.table is the function in R, so we can get the help of that. For example, help search data input. So suppose how we wanted to input the data into the R. So for that we can use the help search and data input. So search by specific subject here. Here get help for the function saves. So this search by specific subject. We don't know, data input is a broad. So how we input the data? What are the different methods of importing the data within the system of R? For that we will be using this. For example, you can help dot search basic statistics. So how to find the basic statistics for that? So those things we can do here. Then, for example, package name. We don't know what is the exact package name, what is the descriptions, what are the functions available with that package name. So we can use find package name, tells about the different package. So help start is one of the things here we can use. Help start, HTML help manuals, material, search engines, everything will open here. Then getting help outside of R. So these are the links. So if you click on this, you will be getting a link where it will be. So R manuals. So for the introduction to the R language, we can explore the R manuals. The reference card is the base and advanced cheat sheets from the R Studio. So these are the basically, you can see here these. If you click here in this particular case, this particular reference sheet comes here. So or here you can say this will come, or this here you can see that. So these are the basically these links shows where we will be able to access these different PDF documents, which will be basically giving the for a particular subject. For example, basic statistics, regress or ordinary least square regression analysis. So those things we will be getting here. For case plotting, so those things. So similarly, if you click it here, so the manuals will be there. So different or detail. Or Stack Overflow. So basically, if you see this Stack Overflow for programming questions. See, this is the basically why I have written this is the main source. When we are using the R, so one thing is sure, at the some point we'll get the some error. So how to solve those errors? Sometime it won't be available direct solutions of that either within the R or outside of R. However, where we have large R community, so those people, if you post the question on here, So those people will reply who knows that. Or most of the times we will see that those questions which we are having already someone has had in the past and they have posted and someone has answered that. In most of the times you won't get one answer. There will be more than one or one answer. So different approaches will be there. Different people have suggested different things. So that's the beauty of our community. So we are not, the R software is there free, but the help is all over across these web pages where freely we can access and learn and solve our questions or problems. Then there are the certain books which is very good for the people who start. For example, this Grolman and Wickham's book R for Data Science is a very interesting and very good book, especially for the people who wanted to analyze the data. It's a very interesting book we have. Then another is using R for introductory econometrics. This is freely available on the web pages. However, if you wanted to purchase the hard copy, then you have, if you wanted to have the hard copy, then you have to purchase. Otherwise, it is freely accessible on the internet. And this is also very good book where this author has basically taken the data from the another very good book on econometrics by William H. Green, and he has used all the data and he has applied R to solve all those problems. So there is many other books where we have done that. For example, there is the Financial Econometrics by Chris Brooks. He has also used R for the different models of R. Then we have Say's book on the financial analysis of the financial data. So that is also based on the R. Then there are the certain R tutorials available in freely on the web page. So here, if you click it here, so for example, this case we can see here where we will have different tutorial lectures, videos, blogs, from where we can learn R in detail. So if you wanted to motivate how we can use the R, so you can click it here, then we can see how R can be used to produce different very beautiful reports and all, and how we use that in the financial econometrics. Since this course is primarily on the development of the financial econometrics, one component is the application. So here we won't discuss much about the R. So let's now turn to move into the software. So the software I have installed in my system. So we'll be opening that and we'll see what we can do in some of the basic things we'll see in here. So we will switch to the software here.